Hey everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got a product from MAXFREE. This is their K3 mechanical keyboard with touchscreen. This also has 82 keys, swappable keycaps, and switches. Speaking of switches, we have Gateron Yellow Pro switches, and of course we have that 13-inch 1920 by 720p 10-point touchscreen display that can fold from 90 degrees down to 0 degrees. We're going to dig into this now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is everything that you get once you get the K3 out of the box. It has a nice leatherette type cover for when you're going to be storing this or transporting it. You do get some documentation here as well for the K3 on how to hook this up. They do give you several different cables for several different ways of hooking this up. Now, if you have a device that is just USB Type-C to USB Type-C, it's going to be super simple, but they also give you a splitter cable, and we'll take a look at that in a few moments. Looking at the documentation here, overall, you have everything that you need to, get the drivers installed if drivers are needed for your specific system. Here are the product specifications, and of course I'll leave these up at this point in the video. If you do need to check them, you can come back to this point and check it out. Now, of course, we've got what I've already talked about here, a 13-inch screen at 720p. We do have Gateron Yellow switches in here. We do have RGB lighting as well, and we have multiple ways of hooking up to different types of systems. Okay, so we do have a keycap, a puller, and a switch puller because all 82 switches and caps can be replaced, hot swappable here. So if you don't like what comes with it, you can actually just add your own, which is always a nice thing to be able to customize your keyboard to your liking. Now, you do get a little bit of a tool here to help you get into some of the slots on this, and there is a slot for an M.2 SSD. There is also a full USB hub here, and they do give you a power adapter in case your host device does not push enough power. You will need to actually plug that in to help give it extra power. Now, we do get a straight USB Type-C to right angle USB Type-C cable here for devices that do supply power over USB Type-C. That's going to be the easiest connection. We also get a USB Type-A to USB Type-C. This will be for adding extra power if your device doesn't push enough. And we also have this cable here, which will be a USB Type-C, and it also splits out to two USBs for power and for your touchscreen. And then it also has an HDMI connection as well, which is really great for just hooking directly into a graphics card or an external HDMI port on the device that you're going to be using, like a laptop or whatnot. So they've got you covered here with all the different cable options for all of the different scenarios that you could come up with. Okay, so taking a look around the device itself, this is a fairly large device, so you're going to need some desk room for this. You do have an LED strip next to the keyboard on both sides. You do have speakers at the top on both sides as well. On the back, we've got several different ports that I will get to here in just a second to show you. We have a full-size SD card slot here. So you can offload things from cameras and other things as well. You do have a USB Type-C, a power delivery port as well, two full-size USB Type-A ports, and then you have your power button, which is also a jog wheel here for adjusting settings on the 13-inch touchscreen display. So overall, that is pretty much it. Now, the one thing that I did want to mention is that when you're moving the screen up and down, there's a little button on the left-hand side, and when you let go of the screen, it will lock into place. And then what will happen here is that you will push that button to release it. So make sure that when you're moving the display that you do use the button to adjust the angle. Now, the angle can go anywhere from 0 degrees all the way up to 90 degrees facing straight at you. And again, you have that 13-inch display at 720p resolution. Great for a secondary display, and we'll get into showing you that, of course, in just a few moments. Now, one last port on the back that I did want to show you was this M.2 SSD port here. Again, since this is basically a hub, you can add extra storage right here, no problems. This is going to take all different types of sizes of M.2 from 2280 all the way down to 2230, I believe, or 2242. So it does support B and M key and B key interface SSDs with up to 5 gigabits per second because of the limitation of the USB Type-C. So overall, you've got a ton going on in here. Let's get it hooked up. We're also going to do a typing test real quick, show you the switches, and of course the screen. Now, of course, looking at the switches here, we have the Gateron Yellow Pro switches. These are more of a silent type switch. You can, of course, pull these and replace them with whatever you would like. You do have RGB here. It is north-facing RGB. You do have double-shot PBT keycaps here. They are not shine-through, but you can easily replace these keycaps with any other keycaps that you would like if you want the RGB to shine through a little bit more. Now, there are several modes of RGB here, and I'm not going to get into all of the modes, but it does have RGB, and it also has RGB along the sides of the device itself. Okay, so let's talk about the screen here. This is a 13-inch IPS display at 1920 by 720p resolution. 10-point touch, so I'm going to be able to swipe. I'm going to be able to get secondary menus, highlight text, do whatever I need to do here. Now, this is a great secondary display. It's got a 1,000:1 contrast ratio, and it does 60% of the NTSC color gamut. So you're not probably going to want to do actual, work as far as color accurate editing, but watching movies or YouTube or putting things down off of your main monitor into your secondary display so that you can free up that primary display is actually really helpful. As you can see, the color representation is really good compared to what the specs might say. As you can see, I'm on the MLB's website, and the colors are really good. I also have Photoshop open on the left-hand side, so I do have that. And then, of course, I have my main display in the back as well, so that works out really well for kind of just moving a bunch of windows, or at least a few windows, off of my main screen to the secondary screen to increase productivity or just watch something in the background while I'm doing my work. Again, Discord comes to mind with this, or other chat programs. You can put them down on the smaller screen and keep your larger screen open for your productive work or whatever else that you may be doing on your main screen. Overall, I like the quality. I like that it's touchscreen. It's super responsive. I can scroll through things. I can make them bigger or I can make them smaller. Works out really, really well. And again, as you can see, the colors are not too bad on this. Definitely okay for media consumption. Again, I wouldn't use it for the Photoshop, or I wouldn't use it for color accurate working, but for everything else, it's just fine. Okay, so there's my review of the MAXFREE K3 mechanical keyboard with touchscreen. This is an excellent thing to have because not only is it a keyboard and a 13-inch touchscreen, but it's a full hub with extra USB ports and even an M.2 SSD drive slot as well for adding extra storage to either your laptop or your PC or whatever you're going to be using this keyboard with. It types great out of the box with the Gateron Yellow switches, but if you don't like those, you can replace them with whichever ones you like. As far as the keycaps go, you can also replace those as well. The screen itself is super useful for offloading windows from your main screen down to the smaller screen to boost productivity. Overall, I like this a lot. It's got a solid build quality to it, a great typing experience, and a nice touchscreen display that really does boost my productivity as I've been testing it. This is Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I'll check you guys out on the next one.